Hey nerdy knitters, in this video we're looking at the Woven Diagonal Herringbone stitch. It's a slip stitch pattern that creates this little herringbone design. It's a really simple pattern repeat, but carrying the yarn across the front creates this diagonal effect. Be sure to stick around because I'll show you how to take this pattern and also turn it into a zigzag pattern. Here's the Woven Diagonal Herringbone pattern. You can see stitches are slipped across the front of the work in a sort of a stair-step fashion. So we get this diagonal line of slipped stitches across the front of the work. The back, well, it's not reversible. I think the back is kind of interesting too. You can see where those stitches are slipped. It sort of creates a slightly raised pattern across the back. That's kind of interesting, I think. Now let's look at this pattern right here. I've got a printable copy of it. If you want to get a copy of this, go to TanyaKnits.com resource library, or you could just Google Tanya Knits resource library and follow the instructions and you can download a copy of this pattern. It's easily memorized and you're slipping stitches with the yarn held to the front to get these floats across the front of the work. So all you're doing is knitting on the right on the front of the work and purling across the back because our background is a stockinette fabric. And as we're working, we're also slipping purlwise with the yarn held to the front. You can see on this row right here, all it is a simple repeat. Slip 3 stitches, knit 3, slip 3, knit 3, slip 3, knit 3, purling back across the row. And then to offset that, on our next right side row, we knit 1, and then we repeat the pattern again. Slip, knit, slip, and then knit 2 at the end. Then on the next right side row, we're knitting 2 at the front and then slipping and knitting 3 at a time. So you can see adding that extra knit stitch to the front makes the pattern move diagonally across the fabric. And then after we've moved as far as we can in our knit 3, slip 3 pattern, now we're slipping a stitch right at the beginning and then knitting and slipping across the row. And that continues to offset to the pattern. If you prefer written instructions, those are down here. And there's a few more tips on the back as well. So be sure to go and download your copy of this pattern. Now before we work on our pattern, I just wanted to pop back in and say I believe you can be a confident knitter, but that comes with understanding what's happening on your needles. And with this slip stitch pattern, it comes with understanding how to slip your stitches and create this woven herringbone design. It's really simple to do, but you need to understand how your stitches work together to create the pattern. If you agree, click the like button down below and be sure to subscribe if you like to get nerdy with your knitting. Now let's get back to our stitch pattern. I am right back here at the beginning. I've worked a wrong side row. Now I'm on the right side. I'm starting with a slipped stitch. I'm slipping 3, but I have to bring my yarn to the front of the work. Slip 3. Keep that yarn fairly loose. We don't want to choke up like that and pinch those really tight. Keep that loose, spread your stitches out so you have a nice loose float. Take it to the back, knit 3 stitches. Bring that yarn to the front. Remember when you're working patterns like this, the yarn goes between the 2 needles. Don't bring it up and over a needle like that. You'll create an extra stitch between the needles. Slip 3 stitches. Keep that float fairly loose. I like to spread my stitches out a little on the needle, and that helps keep that float across there on the looser side. Now we knit 3. And purl. Slip 3 purlwise with that yarn to the front. And we knit our last 3. Now I'm going to purl across this row and then we're going to work one more row. There, let's work row 4. We're starting with a knit stitch first. So we knit our first stitch, bring that yarn to the front, and when you do slip stitch patterns, you always slip purlwise. You insert like you're going to purl and you slip your stitches just like that. Bring the yarn to the back, and now we repeat that knit 3, slip 3 combination. Knit 3 more, Another trick, if you seem to be getting off track and you're not sure where you left off, remember our slipped stitches are always offset by 1 to get this diagonal. So if I'm not sure where I am, there's that last slipped stitch right there where I slipped with the yarn in the front. So I know I'm going to knit 1 more to offset that, and then I bring my yarn to the front and slip 3. So really look at what's happening on your needles. That will help you gain confidence. If you need to learn more about slipping stitches, moving yarn back and forth like this, then check out the video I've linked above. Our last is a knit 2. And one more tip to share after we finish with this. If you wanted to make this into a zigzag pattern, you'd work this way, and then I have notes for this right on the back. It explains how to do this. You repeat those first 2 rows again, and then you would work it in reverse. You would start with row 12 and work this way, and that would give you a zigzag pattern instead of just one that's moving diagonally. There we have it. There's the Woven Diagonal Herringbone pattern. If you want to get your copy, be sure to Google Tanya Knits Resource Library and follow the instructions. And be sure to click subscribe if you like to get nerdy with your knitting.